Good morning, everyone. Tiffany Quinn here, and this is our full body strength and mobility workout. Today I'll be helping you build strength and a broader range of pain-free movement in your upper and lower body using light dumbbells and body weight only as a means for resistance. All you need for equipment today is a pair of light dumbbells. I would use anything from 1 to 3 pound weights for our mobility supersets, and then you'll also want to have a moderately heavier set for our strength supersets, and for that I'll be using my 10-pound weights. Now smash that thumbs up button for me, subscribe to the channel for a new routine every week, and let's go ahead and get into it. What's up, everyone? Welcome back for our full body strength and mobility workout. Now what we've got in store today is a series of up-tempo mobility exercises and dumbbell strength training. We'll be working our way through 12 different supersets from the top all the way down, and our timer will simply be set for 60 seconds work, another 60 seconds work, and a 30-second rest between. Now what we're going to do is complement 2 supersets at a time. Our first superset of each grouping will be focused on our joint range of motion and increasing that range of motion as well as the mobility within that joint, and then complementing that same superset with a follow-up dumbbell strength training, working into that same muscular group that we just mobilized. All right? So we're starting off with our shoulders and the scapula, and I'd like you to start in either a standing or a kneeling position down on the mat. So we're going to take the arms out to the sides, the palms are facing away, no bend in the elbows here, and we're starting off with our controlled articular rotations. So if you've never done this exercise, that's all right. Just follow along with me. In 3, have those arms ready. In 2, in 1. All right, full body tension. Hold those arms nice and straight as we come towards the midline, into adduction, up and over, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Internally rotate as the palms turn away, into extension, and down. Now other direction, lift up, external rotation, towards the midline, and back down. All the while staying in a pain-free range of motion, but fighting for more rotation with every rep. Lifting up, really give it energy, come forward into adduction, external rotation, back down, keeping the shoulder blades in place, and working through the shoulder joint. Back into extension, up and over, into our external rotation, back down. Now relax those arms. We're now working into the shoulder blades and the scapula. So you can take your hands in front, the fingertips in line with the shoulder, keep those arms straight, protract forward, elevate, retract, to press down. Come forward, elevate, retract, back down. Great job. Keep this cadence. Back and down. Forward, elevate, retract, and down. Last one. Now hold it forward, we reverse. To press down, retract, elevate, and forward. 1, 2, fight for more range and forward. Down, retract, elevate, forward. Almost there. I know it's tough to keep those arms up. You've got this. Come back, elevate, forward. Last 2. Elevate, forward. Last 1. Elevate and allow those arms to come back to neutral. Now we're actually going to do that same motion with our protraction and retraction of the shoulder blades from a kneeling push-up position. So rather than having the elbows at shoulder level, we want to take those down a little bit. You can cross the feet or keep them straight, whatever feels best for you. Now we're going to have our forearms flat on the mat, palms are facing down. We're going to protract forward to lift ourselves up, retract and squeeze to lower down. In 2, in 1, protract forward, hold, retract as low as you can. Push yourself up through protraction and lower yourself down by squeezing those shoulder blades. Take this at your own pace. You're gonna start to shake a little bit, that's all right. Lift it up, protraction forward, retract to bring yourself down. Not your standard push-up. And back down through retraction. Push it up and squeeze to come down. Push it up. Great job. squeeze to come down. Let's do 2 more. Retract. Last protraction. And as you retract, this time bring yourself all the way down, relax the feet, and lift yourself up back into our kneeling position. No heavier than 1 to 3 pounds for this next exercise. So we're going back to our shoulder cars. Palms are externally rotated, pull tension through the arms, full body brace, coming up towards the midline. Slow it down this time. Internal rotation, all the way down, and reverse, all the way up. External rotation, bring it forward, and all the way down. Now, if you are using the dumbbells for this, you're going to find that you need to slow this down quite a bit. And if you're just getting used to your controlled articular rotations, continue on without the dumbbells for me. Lift up. This is a progression for those cars. Keep the arms nice and straight, shoulders away from the ears. Into your internal rotation, extension, back down. Lift up into your external rotation, towards the midline, back down, and finish off that rep for me. Incredible job. Okay, so from here, we're actually going to work into our shoulder extension. So for this, we're coming into a standing position. Feet are in line with the hips, face forward, with a micro bend in the knees. Now, what I don't want to see happen is the shoulder blade move. We're working through the shoulder joint, so you don't want to allow it to protract forward. We want to stay exactly where we are as we bring that arm up and behind and back down. In 2, in 1. So the arms are starting straight at the side, starting on the left, lift up, hold for a second, back down, lift up as high as you can, paying for your range of motion, fighting for more range with every rep. And down, lift up, hold it high, back down. 2 more. And down. Last one. We're going to add to this. So your palm is faced in right now. Keep holding. We're going to turn the palm away as we reach for the mid back. Back into your extension and down. Lift up. Turn the palm away to reach. Extend and down. Lift up. Reach as high as you can in the mid back. Extend. Back down. Great job. 2 more. Then we'll do a straight change to the other side. Last one. Reach high, extend, and down. Straight change to the right. Come up and lower down. 30 seconds here, then we'll add. Now what you're trying to do is lift up into your true extension point, so it's okay to be slightly away from the midline, but we don't want to have it all the way out here, okay? Try to keep that in line. Keep the shoulder blade from moving. Only moving through the shoulder joint. And lower. Lift up. We're going to add to this. Hold for those 3 seconds. And on 1, you're going to turn that palm away from you. Tap the mid back as high as you can. Extend. Back down. Palm is in. Palm is out. Palm is in. And we lower. Still holding tension in that arm the entire way through. Extend and down. To follow, we'll be working into the back and the triceps. All these movement patterns are going to correlate with each other. Tap back and down and relax that arm to the side. All right, great job. Now for our next superset, this will be strength-based, so you can of course go with a slightly heavier weight than we were using for our controlled articular rotations. So I'll be using my 10-pound weights here, and in 15 seconds we're going into our bent over rows. On one side to start, we're gonna lift up, kick back, bring it in and down. In 3, 2, 1, 30 seconds per side. Squeeze up towards the waist, extend, bring it in, back down. Bring it in, kick it back, bring it in and down. Try to give it a pause at the top, squeezing that tricep back towards the waist and back down. In and down. Allow a little protraction on the way down. Then squeeze it back up, kick, bring it in, straight change to the right, towards the waist, kick it back, bring it in, bring it down. 1, 2, you're doing amazing. 1, 2, Who knew that mobility could be fun, right? It is. Sometimes it is, especially when you start to get better at it. Kick it back, bring it in, lower down. Let's do 3 more. And down. 2 more. Bring it in and down. Last one, last kick. Bring it in, lower down. Now come up to standing. Palms are facing the thighs, coming up to shoulder level, retracting the shoulder blades, and back down. A little bit slower and lower. Breathing throughout. Good one for traps, by the way. Lift up, squeeze at the top, and lower it back down. You've got 30 seconds to go. And back down. Elbows are out to the sides, only coming up to shoulder level here. Lift it up, slowly lower. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Micro bend in those knees. Then you'll have a 30-second rest, and then we're going into something called Jefferson curls. Spinal segmentation. Out to the side, slow to lower, and you can lower those weights down to the floor. Have the lighter weights nearby. Now for this next one, we're going into spinal segmentation. So again, the feet are in line with the hips, micro bend in the knees, palms are at the sides facing in. We're going to start with spinal flexion through the upper back. We're going to walk it down to the mid back, to the lower back, and then drive ourselves back up. So spinal flexion and then into extension. In 4, hands at the sides, 2, 1, tuck the chin forward, start rounding through the upper back. Bring yourself down through the mid back, segment by segment. You can take this nice and slow, as low as you can, staying in a pain-free range. Now start to drive yourself back up to the low back, the mid back, the upper back, back into extension, and back down. Nice and slow, controlled. Trying to feel vertebrae by vertebrae as you come down into your spinal flexion. Press through those heels and lift yourself back up. Somewhat like a deadlift, only a mobility exercise. We actually do want to round the back. And your flexion, try to get a little bit lower and drive yourself back up. All right, from here, take 5 seconds. Go ahead and grab your lightest weights. If you'd like to practice without them, that's all right too. Those of you who feel comfortable with this, palms are facing in, holding those light weights. Progressive overload, everyone. Tuck the chin forward, upper back flexion, into the mid spine, as low as you can into your hinge. Flex it forward. Now start driving yourself back up, segment by segment. Slow and controlled. This one takes practice, but it feels really good once you've got it. Through the mid back, coming down nice and low as you can comfortably, and lifting back up into your extension. Let's take it one more time. If you start to get a little dizzy, just take an extra moment. I know that breathing, it comes in pretty hardcore here. Core is nice and tight the entire way through. And drive yourself back up, back into your extension, and relax. Coming down to the mat now and working into essentially the same exercise, but only through the upper to mid back. Now what we're going to do is come into a tabletop position. Those of you who are just starting out, it's okay to leave your feet down on the mat. If you're comfortable with it, let's lift both of those legs into tabletop. Palms are coming forward, extended towards the front, facing each other. We're going to go into our upper back flexion, mid back flexion, and back down. A crunch, keeping the lower back on the mat, but including our spinal flexion here. Tucking forward, curling up, and extending back. You can even do just one leg, lifting up, curling forward, all the way back, and switch. Tug it forward, curl up, bring it down, and switch, or both legs down. Just working on that flexion and extension, vertebrae by vertebrae. And back down. We're gonna add to this, by the way. Breathing out as you come up. In through the nose as you come down. Breath out through the mouth. Lower it back down. Now from here, you're going to extend both of those legs. We're going to start with the arms overhead, but we want to come into full spinal flexion. So use some of that momentum to start curling your way up through the upper back, through the mid back, through the lower back. Reach for the ankles as best you can and start driving yourself back down vertebrae by vertebrae. You want to feel for those segments. Hold that spinal flexion throughout. Lower nice and slow. Now hold that spinal flexion, don't let it go. Curling back up through the upper, through the mid, through the lower back. And start driving yourself back down. Hold that spinal flexion forward. Through the low back, through the mid back, through the upper back. Don't let go of that flexion. Let's get one more roll up. As slow as you can go. All the way up. Reach for those toes and slowly, gently bring yourself up into your upright position. Take this moment just to breathe. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some water actually. You've got 30 seconds and then we're going to continue with our spinal segmentations, this time from a quadruped position. So in 25 seconds, I want the knees in line with the hips, the hands in line with the shoulders. All right, everyone. I hope you're ready. This one feels really, really good. So the hands are in line with the shoulders, like I said. Knees in line with the hips. We're gonna flex both feet. And we're starting off with our spinal extension. So the neck is up. We've got an anterior arch. A little bit more neutral here. Starting from the low back, we're gonna tuck under. Walk it up from the lower back, the mid spine, to the upper back, and curl forward. And then extending again from the low back, walking it up to the mid back, to the upper back, and into extension. Let's do this 2 more times. Tucking under, walking it all the way up, segment by segment. Chin tucked down towards the chest. And we're going to extend through the low back, the mid back, the upper back, and now let's take it from the neck first. So tucking the chin down into flexion, rounding through the upper back, pressing the palms down into the mat, the mid back, the lower back, and back into extension from the neck first. And walk it down the upper, the mid, the lower back. Let's take it one more time from this direction. Curling forward. Try to really get yourself into spinal flexion. And from here, we're going to hold this position, taking the left hand across to the right shoulder. We're gonna lift up and out through the oblique, squeeze that core nice and tight into our mid-back rotation and back down. And again, hold that spinal flexion nice and strong. Squeeze those abs as you take it out to the side and back down. One more time, lift it up and out and back down. Reestablish that spinal flexion for me. Take the right hand across, straight change, up and out to the side, pulling up through the obliques and back down. Amazing job. Keep going for me. Lift up and out and back down. Reestablish spinal flexion. Make sure you're holding that nice and strong. And back down. 2 more. Up and out. Hold for a second. And back down. Try to squeeze out as much rotation as you can. And lower on down. From here, we are going into our oblique exercise from a sideline position. So again, working into the same area that we were just mobilizing. I want you to have one of your weights nearby. And we're going to use that as support here as we come into our full lying position. Now we're going to point both toes, both hips are faced towards me. We're going to lift, lift, and lower, holding onto that weight for support. Let's go. Lift, lift, lower. Squeeze the obliques. Lift, lift, slow to lower. We've got 1 minute per side with a small transition point between and lower. Lift, lift, core is tight. Lower, try to feel for where that's burning. Right along the obliques. Lift, lift, slow to lower. Lift, lift, now hold. We're gonna take that arm with the weight, if you feel comfortable with it, right overhead. Hold here for 3, 2, 1, now take that bottom leg, tap to the mat, and back up to the toes. Tap to the mat, back up to the toes. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to change sides. So give me 3 more. 2 more. On that last one, lower everything down, straight change to the other side, using that weight as a base of support. Extending those legs, lift. Lift as high as you can, lower, lift, lift, hold, lower. If you need to, you can come right here, not lift that bottom leg, that's okay. Whatever you feel comfortable with doing right now, listen to your body, but I encourage you to try. And lower, core is tight, 2, 3, and down. And down, almost there. Lift, now hold for 4, 3, 2, on 1. Lift that weight overhead. Oh man, there's that tremble. Hold, 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 hold. Squeeze that core nice and tight. The bottom leg comes down and lifts back up. Down and lift. For 3, for 2. Last one. Lift it up, slowly lower, and take that rest. Did you see that? Started to weeble wobble there a bit. Okay. Now we're coming back to the other side, going into our side lying hip cars. If you have a block or a pillow nearby, you can use that as support for your neck, but you can also opt to go without it. Bottom arm comes forward, the top arm is going to punch down, flex the top foot, and lift it to hip level. Squeeze that core tight. We're coming into hip flexion. In 2, in 1, let's go. Into your hip flexion, out and away, internal rotation of the hip only, adduct down, stack forward, donkey kick back into extension, open wide, back to hip flexion, and extend. If you want to make this harder, grab a light weight, place it behind the knee, into your hip flexion, open wide, internal rotation, adduct down, stack forward, kick it back, external rotation, fight for more hip flexion, down, and a small extension. Hip flexion, open wide, internal rotation, adduct down, stack forward, take it back, external rotation and abduction, back and front into hip flexion, and we are going to remove that weight and go right over to that other side. I did say up tempo, didn't I? All right, let's start without the dumbbell first. Flex that top foot for me. Punch that top arm down, hold full body tension. Into our hip flexion, abduct away, into your internal rotation. Bring it down into adduction, stack forward, donkey kick back, external rotation, fight for hip flexion, bring it towards the midline, and extend. If you want to make this harder for progression, use that weight behind the knee into your hip flexion, open wide, internal rotation, adduct down, stack forward, kick back, no compensating at the lower back, external rotation, more hip flexion, small extension, hip flexion, open wide, we've got 2 more here. Bring it down, come forward, external rotation, towards the front into hip flexion, small extension, and just finish off that last and final rep for me here. We're coming up to standing after this. Bring it forward and remove that weight and extend. Okay, if you've got your heavier weights, now would be the time to go ahead and grab them. From here, we're coming into our standard lunge stance, and we're gonna be working on our pelvic tilts forward and back to neutral while we do our lunges. So left leg forward, right leg back. Weights at the side or at the shoulders. In 2, in 1, we're coming down. Now relax the foot into plantar flexion. Tuck the hips forward. Neutral, dorsiflexion, foot flexed and up. Coming down, relax the foot flat. Tuck the hips forward. Working into the anterior hip tissue, stretching that. Relax the hips, flex and raise. 1, 2, tuck it forward, neutral, flex the foot, and lift. Working the ankles, working the pelvis. Everything is going to feel pretty smooth by the end of this one. Bring it down, relax the foot, tuck it forward, neutral, flex, and raise. Facing straight ahead, using those weights just to add that tension. Lift one more time for me. Relax the foot, tuck forward, and flex and raise, changing sides in 3, 2, 1. Find that balance. Bring it down, relax the foot, tuck forward with the hips, back to neutral, flexion at the ankle, and press up through the front heel. Quite a mouthful. Oh, did you hear that pop? That was a nice pop. I kind of needed that. All right, come down, relax the foot, tuck under, back to neutral, flex, and raise. You're doing incredible. You've got 30 seconds left. All the while, trying to fight for a bit more rotation forward when you come down and allowing yourself to feel that stretch on the anterior hip tissue, the front hip area. Relax the foot, tuck it forward, neutral, flex, and raise. 2 more. And then you get that break. After this, we only have 2 more sets to go through. And relax, and those weights can go over to the side. Now we're going to be working on our capsular cars for hip external and internal rotation. So if you have a wall nearby, I would definitely recommend having one hand placed on it. We're going to point the toes forward, just away from the floor so we're not scraping up against it. I want the torso tall, the back straight, and we're going to take our leg up, heel across the body into our external rotation, and then come forward once again. Bring it up, across the body, fight for external rotation as well as hip flexion, and extend. Heel across, and extend. We're going to add to this. 3 more here, and extend. Micro bend in the supporting leg, and extend. Last time up, hold it high. We're gonna rotate out and away with the heel in the internal rotation, and across into external rotation. Rotate out and away through that hip joint, and back towards the midline. Out and away, try to fight for more range. Back towards the midline. 3 more. Bring it in. Last 2. Bring it in. 1 more for me. Bring it in and extend that leg long, straight change to the other side. So take that foot out and away, just a little bit more in front, into our external rotation at the hip, and extend back to the front. Knees coming out and away from the body, trying to lift up a little bit higher with every rep. Lift up and out, and extend to the front. Up and out, extend to the front. 1 more time up, now hold it here. We're going to internally rotate at the hip with the heel coming away from the midline and back into your external rotation, like a windshield wiper or a grandfather clock. Coming forward towards the midline and into your internal extension away, rotation. 3 more. Even it out. Don't give up on that last one. You've got 2 more. Out to the side, a little bit past that rest timer. 1 more time into your external rotation and extend. All right, our final superset, everyone. We are now going into essentially what will be practice for Cossack squats, working into the same rotations we were just working. So the feet are gonna come nice and wide. We're starting on the left side. As we come down into our side stance lunge, the other side foot rotates up and away, back down, and to center. If you'd like, you can use your weight for this. Coming down into that lunge, rotate that foot out and away, keeping the torso upright, back to center. Lunge down. As you lunge, you rotate out. Foot forward facing as you come up. And forward and raise. Almost there. Forward and raise. 30 seconds left, and we go right over to that other side. With every lunge, you should be trying to get a little bit more depth there. Hold for a second, Allow yourself to feel the stretch on the inner thigh. I've always appreciated that one. Bending through the knee and the hip. Lift up. Let's do 2 more here on this side. Up and away. Back to standing. Try to increase that depth. Lift up and straight change in 2, in 1. You may find, as well as myself, that one side is going to be a little bit easier for depth and range of motion than the other. That's all right. We all have imbalances to work out. We all hold them in different places. Bending through the knee and the hip, rotate that foot out and away, bring it forward and back to center. Torso stays tall. You can also hold the weight on the opposite side, whatever feels better for you. Not here to dictate, just here to help. All right, bend through that knee and the hip, rotate out, forward and back to center. Stay strong. I want you slow and controlled on this one. Feel for that stretch, increase that depth, keeping that heel on the bouncing leg, down on the mat. And raise. 2 more. And back up. Last one, make it your best one. Lift up. And okay, I want you to give yourself a massive congratulations, some applause, some cheering on for yourself for actually showing up, making it to the end, because that completes our mobility workout for today. I do hope you liked it and found where we were actually working into the mobility exercises that we did, how they corresponded to the strength exercises that we did, and had a good time doing it. Don't forget to like the video for me if you had a good time, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and I will see you for our next workout. Great work today, everyone. I do hope you were able to find the value in our progressive overload for our mobility exercises. Be sure to let me know in the comments which progression was your favorite. I know for me personally, the shoulder rotations using the dumbbells is a lot more challenging than body weight only, and I do have to focus quite a bit more to be able to perform that movement correctly. Now smash that thumbs up button for me, subscribe to the channel for a new routine every week, and finally turn your notifications on for next week's 20-minute core and mid-spine mobility workout. All right, everyone, have an amazing day, and I'll see you for the next one.